While the WNBA was celebrating their viewership, the NBA is sad to see that their viewership numbers have dropped drastically.
That's correct. The NBA viewership numbers have taken a massive fall. Whilst Caitlin Clark is sitting back knowing full well she's not just the biggest women's basketball players, she's the most hyped player as a whole, increasing WNBA viewership numbers this year, whilst the NBA has failed to replicate it with their own players.
People are not talking about the NBA, and judging by these ratings, people damn sure aren't watching. Opening weekend of the season, it was a Friday night, Pacers-Knicks on ESPN. 830,000 viewers, down 47% compared to last year, and a decline of almost 1 million viewers.
Caitlin Clark has changed the WNBA forever by taking viewership to a new height. For the first time ever, the WNBA are competing with NBA numbers, and actually outgrowing the NBA. Fans are starting to like the women's game more. Due to more time with ball being in play, the NBA is a lot more stop-start, with no magic star that makes things happen anymore. They don't have someone like Caitlin who everyone wants to see play, and things are starting to go downhill for the men's game, whilst for the women's, due to Caitlin, everything is looking up.
Caitlin Clark has created more buzz around the basketball landscape and has actually transformed and revived a league that was the WNBA, and she is getting paid a measly $28 million.
The landscape of American basketball is changing, and it's not just shifting between teams, it's moving from one league to another. Surprisingly, it's not an NBA superstar taking over the spotlight. It's Caitlin Clark, a college player and WNBA sensation with a unique blend of skill and charisma that's drawing fans like never before. She's not just gaining popularity, she's redefining what it means to be a basketball icon. You may have seen the headlines proclaiming her as the new face of basketball. But what's really going on here? How is it that Caitlin Clark, a young player in a league historically overshadowed by the NBA, is suddenly captivating audiences that even the biggest NBA names struggle to retain? The answer might just reshape the sport's future.
What have I been saying? I said Caitlin Clark, rising tide lifts all boats. As much as her presence was maximized by the WNBA, you players could have done more to assist it.
For years, the NBA has been the undisputed king of American basketball, boasting star-studded teams and household names like LeBron James, Steph Curry, and Kevin Durant. Their high-flying action has consistently filled arenas and drawn massive TV audiences. But recently, something unexpected is shaking the NBA to its core.
Let's just get one thing straight, okay? If you're pissed that Major League Baseball has two of its biggest markets playing against each other in the World Series this year, and you're saying you don't want to watch the World Series because it's the Yankees and the Dodgers, you're not a true baseball fan. You're a casual. You're not a true baseball fan. It's as if the Cowboys and the Steelers, which are two of the most historic football organizations.
This season, viewership numbers are dropping significantly, with some analysts even describing it as a fall off a cliff. Fans just aren't tuning in as they used to. In contrast, when Caitlin Clark hits the court, viewers flock to watch her every move. She's bringing a spark that feels increasingly rare in the NBA.
If you look at some of these numbers down below, they're insanely lower than last year, and people are trying to figure out why. And to put this in perspective, Caitlin Clark's debut had over 2 million viewers on ESPN2, which is more than any of the NBA games. So someone did a time breakdown when watching an NBA game, and this is insane. 37% of the game is actual basketball. 32% is commercials. 21% of the time, the ball's not even in play. And 9% of the time are free throws. Not even half the time you're watching basketball, what you're tuning in for. Not to mention all the super expensive streaming services you have to have now.
Now, let's talk numbers. When Caitlin Clark stepped onto the court, the WNBA saw a significant spike in viewership. Her games didn't just attract more fans, they were shattering records, sometimes even drawing larger audiences than some of the NBA's marquee matchups. The attention she brought to women's basketball was unprecedented, capturing not only the interest of hardcore sports enthusiasts, but also pulling in casual viewers curious about the buzz surrounding her. Her name quickly became synonymous with must-see basketball, a title typically reserved for the NBA's top players. The most impressive part? Clark hasn't just boosted viewership for women's games. She's converted NBA fans into dedicated WNBA followers, sparking a real shift in where people choose to focus their attention. I've been dead serious when I say Caitlin Clark is the face of American basketball going forward.
Before the 2023 season, the WNBA had grown by 40% viewership from 2022 to 2023. But with Caitlin Clark's arrival, it's grown by 400% viewership. What that means is if the WNBA were continue to grow at the rate it grew from 22 to 23, it would take until 2028 to do what Caitlin Clark did this year.
Each time she plays, there's a palpable energy that hooks viewers, creating an atmosphere you can almost feel through the screen. Her remarkable skill, confidence, and knack for sinking those deep threes, especially under pressure, are just parts of what make her a true phenomenon. Fans don't just watch her to see a basketball player excel. They're drawn into a compelling narrative, witnessing a rising star whose story feels refreshingly genuine. With every play, Clark offers something more than just stats. She brings heart, grit, and a connection that resonates with audiences in a way few players can. This is where the conversation shifts from simply recognizing Caitlin Clark's talent to acknowledging her as the new face of American basketball. And we're talking about all of basketball, not just women's basketball. Caitlin Clark is bridging a major gap, breaking down the invisible wall that has long separated the WNBA and the NBA in the eyes of fans. People who once tuned in solely to watch NBA legends like LeBron James or Steph Curry are now showing up for Caitlin, eager to witness her impact on the court. And if the viewership numbers are any sign, her popularity is no fluke or passing trend. In terms of raw viewer count, Clark's games have attracted numbers comparable to, and at times surpassing, some of the NBA's biggest stars. When was the last time we saw a WNBA player outdrawing LeBron James or Steph Curry in terms of viewership? It's almost unheard of, yet Caitlin Clark is making it a reality, shifting the focus of the basketball world and changing who fans consider a must-watch star.
That the paying customer, the audience, didn't feel that way. They did not give a damn about the WNBA. Is that fair to the ladies? No, it isn't fair. But they're the paying customer. You don't tell them what they want. They tell you what they want. And they really were not feeling the WNBA to the degree that they're feeling the WNBA now, obviously because of Caitlin Clark.
And this impact isn't just catching the attention of fans. It's resonating with the biggest names in the game. Breanna Stewart, one of the most successful and celebrated players in the WNBA, has recognized Clark's potential to reshape the sport's future. Stewart has reportedly been in discussions with Unrivaled, a high-profile organization focused on expanding opportunities for women in sports. And rumors suggest they're gearing up to offer Caitlin Clark an unprecedented deal, one that could be the largest contract women's sports has ever seen.
How they reach these goals, but they have expanded from 30 to now 36 players. So that means that there are more spots open for possibly somebody like Caitlin Clark to play.
For Clark, who is still early in her career, this would represent a groundbreaking opportunity, solidifying her as a cornerstone of women's basketball. But for Unrivaled and the WNBA, this isn't just about securing a star. It's a strategic investment in the sport's future, potentially inspiring more high-profile contracts and media attention that could elevate women's basketball to new heights.
Here is what he had to say about the league. He is also president of Unrivaled. He said, "We're always going to have a roster spot for Caitlin Clark. We are not applying a full court press the way people think. We are letting her decompress from basketball. She knows that we have a spot for her when she's ready." So with this, it seems like he is trying to calm down the media just a bit, because I think when we heard about the messy deal, when we heard about the full court press that Unrivaled would be pushing onto Caitlin Clark, it seemed like they were really hounding her, really begging her that there were negotiations happening.
There's the undeniable fact that Caitlin Clark's influence reaches far beyond her performances on the court. Even when she's not actively playing, she remains a central figure in basketball conversations. Fans tweet about her, share highlight reels from her past games, and eagerly await her return. There's an undeniable sense that something's missing in the game when she's not out there. Basketball legends like Sheryl Swoopes have highlighted this, emphasizing that Caitlin Clark isn't just an extraordinary talent, she's a cultural phenomenon. It's not just her impressive stats or record-breaking plays, it's the way she's transforming the image of the sport itself.
Now, if we say her stats are today, what?
20 points, 8.4 assists, 6 rebounds.
That's crazy.
But 5
That's crazy.
5.6
Those are hell of a number.
Those are hell of a numbers.
But to me, that's not dominating.
She's drawing new audiences and bringing a fresh energy to the WNBA, prompting people to care about women's basketball on an unprecedented scale. Now that the WNBA season has wrapped, fans are already feeling the void she's left, a testament to her power in reshaping fan expectations and engagement. It's a situation that's putting the NBA in an unexpectedly challenging position. The league can't ignore the fact that a WNBA player is drawing fans in a way that NBA stars haven't managed to lately. For years, the NBA has invested heavily in flashy marketing, high-profile social media campaigns, and cultivating larger-than-life personalities, hoping to keep fans engaged. Yet Caitlin Clark offers something entirely different, something the NBA can't quite replicate with any budget: authenticity. Her appeal isn't about a carefully crafted brand, it's about her unfiltered passion, skill, and genuine connection with fans. It's ironic, really. While the NBA has been focused on constructing superstar personas, Caitlin Clark is captivating audiences by simply being herself. Her grounded, relatable presence offers a refreshing contrast that resonates deeply with fans, showing that what audiences crave isn't necessarily spectacle or hype, but an athlete who truly represents the spirit of the game.
I saw the Nets play 3 times a few years ago when the Big Three was there. I saw exactly 0 minutes from James Harden, Kyrie Irving, and Kevin Durant. 0 minutes. I spent money on 3 games. Didn't get to see all 3 of them play 1 time. Load management, TV deals, regional blackouts. You let the players have more control of your organization than your front office. And you wonder why your league's viewership ratings are suffering? This is professional basketball. Get ready to play in tournament. What is that? Your all-star game ain't too far behind the NFL Pro Bowl.
What does this all mean for the future of basketball? Caitlin Clark is showing that fans are eager to support a new kind of superstar, one who breaks away from the traditional mold we've grown accustomed to. She's proving that women's basketball can not only stand shoulder to shoulder with the men's game, but also guide it in a fresh direction. With her growing influence, the dividing lines between men's and women's basketball fandom are starting to dissolve. People aren't tuning in to see Caitlin Clark play simply because she's excelling in what some might still label a woman's sport. They're watching her because she's, without question, one of the best basketball players around, regardless of gender.
Nobody dismissed their contribution. We were simply saying, despite the contributions for years and years and years, a lot of people didn't care, fair or not, until Caitlin Clark came along. Not only her, Angel Reese to some degree as well, but Caitlin Clark more so, and her and the combination of Angel Reese, it elevated television ratings, it elevated attendance, and it damn sure elevated franchise value.
If Caitlin Clark can keep drawing fans not only to her games, but to the WNBA at large, she could fundamentally shift the sports landscape. Her influence could lead to greater investment, more media coverage, and wider respect for women's basketball, paving the way for future athletes. Clark's rising popularity isn't just a personal success. It's an opportunity to redefine the boundaries and potential of basketball itself. In many ways, Caitlin Clark embodies something far bigger than just basketball. She's emerging as a new kind of sports star, one who draws fans in with her undeniable skill, but also captivates them with her authenticity and relatability. Clark isn't just making people excited about basketball. She's reigniting a passion for women's basketball in a way that's unprecedented. Her appeal is inspiring fans of all ages and backgrounds, proving that exceptional talent transcends traditional boundaries. If she continues on her current path, she stands to redefine what it means to be a basketball icon, showing that greatness isn't limited by gender. Clark is breaking down barriers within the sport, creating a future where young fans, girls and boys alike, don't look solely to the NBA to find their heroes. She's showing them that inspiration can be found anywhere, sparking a movement that may well reshape how the world sees both women's and men's basketball.
I wasn't expecting the NBA to see growth, but a 47% decline? A decline of nearly 1 million viewers? The NBA featured teams in LA and New York too. The NBA is supposed to have the stars. There is not a player in Major League Baseball that comes anywhere remotely close to matching the star power of LeBron James.
For the NBA, this shift is something they can't afford to ignore. Caitlin Clark's rise serves as a clear reminder that the sports world is evolving, and fans today are drawn to authenticity and relatability more than to the prestige of a well-known league. As the NBA faces its own viewership challenges, Clark's success is a timely wake-up call. Fans crave more than just high scores and superstar names. They're looking for connection, genuine excitement, and a reason to feel invested. Clark's influence highlights that today's audiences want a personal experience, a sense of belonging, and a player who represents their own passion for the game.
Caitlin Clark has a bullseye on her back every single game. You must stop her. I don't think you look at Chicago and go, boy, if we stop Angel Reese, we're going to win.
So, as we look to the future, the question isn't just about whether Caitlin Clark will continue her rise, but about how far and high she'll go in redefining the sport. Will she inspire the next generation of players, bringing fresh talent to the court? Will she rekindle fans' excitement for a game that some feel has lost a bit of its magic? Judging by her impact so far, Caitlin Clark isn't just positioning herself as the face of women's basketball. She's poised to become the face of basketball itself. Her influence extends far beyond individual games. It's sparking broader interest in the sport and proving that passion and relatability are what fans crave. As her career progresses, one thing is certain: this is only the beginning of the Caitlin Clark era, a time that promises to change the way we view and celebrate basketball talent, regardless of gender or league. If you enjoyed, leave a like and subscribe. More videos are on screen now.